Hey guys, we're here again for another great interview on the floor of the conference here in Austin at Consensus. I'm here with Olga Bashkatova, the CEO and founder of Next Stage Advisory and the host of Crypto Mondays Austin. Thanks for joining me for this conversation. We'll talk about your business a little bit, talk about Crypto Mondays a little bit in Austin and how you're pushing that forward. First of all, tell us your background. Obviously you're CPA or you have some accounting background. Mm-hmm. Is that what you've done for most of your career, or is that kind of a new?
Yeah, no, so I've been an accountant for my whole career,
Okay.
And I studied accounting in college, became an accountant. So since that, I've been worked my way up through corporate accounting, started working with startups in 2010, and then since 2017, I've had my own company. And it's called Next Stage Advisory. We mostly work with startups, small to medium-sized businesses. We do all of the financial operations and GAAP reporting. Not taxes, but we work with really great companies with great tax advisors to make sure that the taxes are filed. Also, for the last couple of years, we've been working within the Web3 space, working with companies to make sure that they are properly, again, accounting for all of their crypto transactions and, of course, normal transactions. They're still normal companies. They still have all the same issues that normal companies have. Yep, and on the Crypto Mondays side, so Crypto Mondays is a community, it's a crypto community that has sprouted over the last several years in many cities in the US and worldwide. It started in New York, where I'm from, with Lou Kerner. And when I moved to Austin several years ago, I started, after a while, not right away, but I started the sort of Crypto Mondays chapter. We're extremely decentralized, so we kind of do our own thing. But we finally launched our speaker series in December. So we have monthly speaker events, trying to educate the public, get people engaged, and hopefully get them engaged in the Texas Blockchain Council at some point, and get people involved in policy making.
We'd love that. And you know, we are in the session right now, and we need as many people as possible to get involved. I think what you said, though, about education is critical. There is a real collective action problem around educating in the digital asset ecosystem, because it doesn't make economic sense for one company to just spend a lot of time and resources educating. So it's really left up to the people that have boots on the ground.
Yep.
So we want to support Crypto Monday. We're going to meet soon about doing that
Definitely.
more. We want to support the educational efforts because we do have a mandate as an industry association to do that. And we need to involve multiple companies in that process, because they're exhausted of everyone saying, oh, we just need more education. They're saying, we're trying to run our business.
Yes.
We don't have time to educate. Well, let us do it, and all we need is just some reach back support.
That's right.
We just need some cover, some air cover, if you will, right? Some F-16s, or we're flying like F-35s
That's what
now.
we are.
But
that's right.
yeah.
Dropping bombs of knowledge everywhere.
Knowledge bombs. Okay, so Next Stage Advisory. So what is the number one issue that a digital asset company comes to you and says, I need you to solve for this pain point?
Well, digital asset companies, crypto companies, absolutely, it's their crypto transactions, right? So they're not able to track well without using software, and often they don't know how to use the software themselves. They're not able to track the basis and the profits and the losses on the crypto transactions. But I would say the majority of the problems that these businesses have is, first of all, forgetting that they are actually still real businesses, and that they need to register as corporations, that they need to have contracts. So I've seen, especially during the NFT boom, I've seen so many companies kind of start up, they start making NFTs, they're selling them, they're making millions of dollars, and they're not even registered as a company.
Wow.
They have no contracts with their engineers.
Oh my goodness.
Right, so nobody knows whose revenue is this,
Oh
right?
my
They're like,
goodness.
we just split the revenue, but that's not how businesses operate, right? So we need a legal structure.
Yeah.
You're still a business. You need to file taxes,
Yeah.
right? You need
Tell
to
them
have
to put
financials.
the brakes on real fast.
That's right, yes. And so that's kind of partly what I do as well, is help them kind of like slow down a little bit and say, whoa, you need to be a real business. You need to grow up. And of course, you know, I'm not a compliance person, but from a financial perspective, we definitely look at a lot of these things that they're not doing or should be doing. You know, I would say, especially because it's, the economy has been going down, I would say for all businesses, one of the biggest pain points is they're not tracking their cash. And especially in the startup world, it's so important. You need to know what your cash runway is. And people are really bad until they run out of money. They're really bad at figuring out how much money do we have left? How long is it going to last us? And they're kind of spending it all over the place until they run out and it's too late. So what we try to help companies with is tracking that, understanding what their budget is, how much are they spending every month, and kind of putting the reins on that and making sure that they have a plan for fundraising and for making the money that they have last.
So an important component of all of this, certainly, do you mostly serve as like a fractional, or do they just contract with you, or what's your preferred business model?
So we work. We usually have relationships where we sign contracts for a year at a time, and we perform a monthly service. It's a recurring service, and so we provide financials, and we work on all these kind of issues as they come up. Right, and so we try to help the company mature. I don't call this fractional. This is not a fractional CFO business.
Right.
I would say it's more financial operations and financial reporting.
Yeah.
And it's just stable services that everybody needs on a monthly basis.
What is your favorite crypto tax software?
That's interesting. I don't have a favorite. I think a lot of them have.
Good answer.
Everything. Every one of these softwares is new. Right, they're only a few years old at most. There are a lot of kinks. Whenever you have a software that's trying to tackle such a complicated matter, and of course it's not just federal tax laws that we have state laws as well, and they can differ greatly. And when we have that, so much complexity, these new young softwares, they have all kinds of issues and glitches, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of still manual work, manual components to these, and they have their own benefits and downsides.
Pros and cons,
yes.
yeah. So just for everybody's situational awareness, throw out a couple of the top, there's top three,
yeah.
TaxBid, and
yeah.
What are the top three?
Yeah, sure. So TaxBid is one of them, and obviously they've raised a lot of money.
Yeah.
They probably tend to be on the more expensive side, but for companies, it's normal pricing. And they offer...
But it's free to individuals, I thought.
Yes,
okay.
For individuals, yes.
Yeah.
But on the company side, they have to make their money somewhere,
right? Yeah.
So there's also Bitwave. It's a pretty large competitor to TaxBit. There is Ledger.io. There is Crypto.io. And then there's a slew of slightly smaller firms, and then really small software that's out there. Yes.
I see.
And then there's a lot of software that is really aiming at the personal market, at the personal tax filing market.
Okay.
But
what are
companies
some of those?
Can use it. I think there's Coinly.
Coin Tracker?
Maybe. There's so many.
Okay.
They all have coin in them.
Well, Coin Tracker, I guess, is the website that tracks the market caps, but I want to say there was yeah. Okay, so let's just circle back to this in my head as much as for the viewer. The top three by size. You don't have to rank them by how much you like them.
Without having numbers in front of me, I can't really say by size, but in my
just your
in
perception.
my head, my perception,
yeah.
yes, I would say it's Bitwave, TaxBit, and probably Ledger.io.
Bitwave, TaxBit, and Ledger.io.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to have the landscape in my mind too, and I
Yeah.
feel like your landscape is much more. I mean, in the policy world, I got you, right? And a lot of different places in digital assets, I got you. But in the tax and compliance or the tax accounting space, I'm just okay. I know there's companies out there doing really great things, but that's not my not my area.
And there are a lot of other areas, not just figuring out what your profit and losses are on crypto assets. We're now getting into the IRS Tax Act that came out, I think it was 2021, made 1099 filings for any crypto broker mandatory as of the January 1st of this year. So everyone needs to start thinking about that, collecting W-9s from their users or whoever they're brokering crypto transactions for. And
really?
W-9s, it means you're collecting their address, their actual name, right?
Yeah.
And their social security number. And we all need to implement those systems. How many companies have that process right now?
Right.
Right? And so they've had a year and a half to work on this. So I would assume that the big companies have kind of sometimes they already have KYC processes, so they already are gathering that information.
Right.
But then you have to file in mass a lot of 1099s if you're a B2C company and you have a lot of users.
Very difficult.
It's a lot. So you need software for that. And TaxBit provides that service as well.
So help me through this. They're filing a 1099, which everybody knows, tracking on that. They are doing it it's brokers are required to do it, right?
Crypto brokers, yes.
Okay,
Which is a very wide definition.
Yeah, okay,
yes.
so that does that include exchanges and digital asset service providers?
I believe so, yes.
So exchanges are going to be
not a
sending
tax advisor.
Okay.
But
Yeah, we're delving off into tax from accounting,
Yep.
which is your specialty. But so exchanges are going to be sending out 1099s?
I think that they're falling
That's-
under that. I
okay.
think so. But exchanges are already collecting so much information
That's
that
true.
they have everything they need to be able to do that. But honestly, I think, so when we're buying regular securities, right, we're receiving the 1099, I think, Bs from the institutions.
Right.
And they're telling us this is how much money you've made from the sales of your, stock portfolio, right?
Okay.
And that is what we use to file our taxes. When we're talking about crypto, we have not been receiving that information. And that really hampers the ability of most regular people to file their taxes because it puts the onus on them to try and track their basis, right, as they're moving things between their wallets, as then they're buying and selling, and are involved in all these crypto transactions. So I think it's actually super helpful when institutions are kind of forced to send out these statements because the institutions have all this information.
Okay.
So they're probably in a really great place to collect and then send out these statements to users to make their life easier.
So do you do any work for individuals as all companies?
We only work with companies.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so individuals have some options as far as like software and stuff.
Yes.
Your preference is to work with small, medium-sized businesses, probably privately held. Do you do some pubco?
No public work. Nope.
Yeah.
We leave that for, first of all, public companies usually have their sort of internal accounting teams because they're much bigger. And that is a whole other beast. And so we don't
totally
touch
different
that.
form of accounting,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
So, I mean, the accounting is very much the
Still
same.
still
but
GAAP,
There's
but-
more advanced accounting.
Okay.
There are more things to take into account when you're working for a public company. But we try to work with startups mostly. I would say most of them are in the tech space of some sort.
Yeah.
Or crypto tech. And what and I lost track of thought there.
That's all right.
Sorry, what was
That's
I?
all right. Well, no, I think what I was going to say is, so for the listener and the viewer, so if you're a startup, from there to pre-IPO company, like they could use your services.
Yeah. So we usually work with, that's where I was going with this, with companies that either have just raised a really large seed or they're around their Series A.
Got it.
Because that's when they're getting more serious investors and they're kind of looking to get real financials, real GAAP
Professionalize their
financials
books.
on a monthly basis,
Yeah.
and they have somebody to report to.
QuickBooks doesn't cut it at that point?
Well, no, actually, QuickBooks cuts it for a really long time.
Okay.
Yep. So QuickBooks is totally fine, and it can take you. I mean, QuickBooks has been investing so much money into their software that its capabilities have been growing.
But you guys have to be the ones that know how to utilize.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
because I use QuickBooks too.
is a
but
tool.
Yeah,
Yes,
I very quickly run out of my depth, so
Yeah.
I have our accounting people help.
It's a tool. You still need to know accounting to know what to do in QuickBooks with all of these transactions to properly create, compose financial statements on a GAAP basis.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness,
Yep.
so much wisdom here.
But also, creating financial statements is one thing, right? But I think people, for reporting to investors, but really financial statements are an important tool that most business owners unfortunately don't use because sometimes they're afraid of numbers, right? But it's really important to learn, and we try to work with our clients to make sure that they know how to use this data so that they can make great decisions based on data, informed decisions. That's right. Instead of just kind of making decisions based on what they think is happening, they can look at their numbers, understand them, and so that's why we have calls, where we go through the numbers to make sure that we're tracking the right KPIs, key performance indicators that make sense for their business, so that we can see the changes that are happening.
Right.
Is it a positive change? Is it a negative change? What do we need to work on, right? Do we need to decrease some expenses? Is a certain maybe customer segment not working out? So for some of our clients, because they're given this information by, for example, a business segment that they're in, maybe they have 3 business segments, once they start seeing profitability for each one of them separately, they're able to make decisions to maybe shut one of them down that's not profitable. But if you're not tracking this information, you don't know how to make that decision, right? You're making these decisions in the vacuum.
Right. Olga, where can people go to find out more about your work and to reach out to you?
I'm on LinkedIn. It's Olga Bashkatova, but also we have a website. It's www.nextstageadvisoryllc.com, and there's a way to contact me, schedule a consultation. We're available. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. We had a great time here at Consensus. At the Texas Blockchain Council, we are striving to be the nexus between traditional industries, banking, finance, legal, energy, and the digital asset industry. So we want to help you get your brand in front of those kinds of companies with B2B opportunities. Reach out to us if that's of interest for membership or for sponsorship at the summit. Hope to see you there in November in Fort Worth. Thanks again. We look forward to seeing you at the summit.